focus going forward. Here's a look at the tropics. This is Tropical Depression Debby. It did make a second landfall in South Carolina. Now well inland. It is weakening, still does have that flooding threat inland. That's really the more primary threat, will be kind of along the Appalachians, farther north into the East Coast, but actually staying away from the coastline. The greatest rainfall threat will be a little bit closer to the center, so that should stay away from a lot of the major cities along the eastern seaboard, but it will continue to plague even up toward New England and eventually up toward the Canadian Maritimes by this weekend, eventually fizzling out. The only other area that we're watching right now is still well in the central Atlantic. This is kind of a timeline of when we could see some development as it gets a little bit closer to the islands late this weekend and then into early to mid next week. Right now, the models take this system, which is not yet organized, so you kind of take the models at this early stage with a grain of salt, but it does maintain that this system should turn well before nearing the U.S. East Coast. And so as the models kind of a decent agreement as it approaches the Lesser Antilles by Tuesday or so, Greater Antilles on into mid to late in the week, but turning well away from the East Coast. In fact, while the model guidance spread is a little bit all over the place, all of the models as of right now would keep this out of the Gulf. Again, clearly the early stages, but at least promising in the early stages. 99